LBC.
Now, thanks to Interhigh, today we're looking at online schooling and how to continue to motivate your children to learn over the summer and beyond. I'm joined by Jaqueline Daniel, CEO of Wey Education, to talk more about this. Good afternoon to you, Jaqueline.
Good afternoon, Sheila.
A lot of parents probably need some more motivation at this point, don't they? How do teachers motivate children to study online when there are so many distractions?
Well, it's difficult, really, but it's all about interactivity. It's all about participation. It's got to be two-sided, it's got to be reciprocal. So a good online teacher is very skilled at doing that. They will use sort of different modes of teaching. So they'll be in teaching mode where they're probably delivering, new material, new information, a new topic. They might then move on quickly to be a guide mode where they're allowing the pupils to explore using games and virtual trials and virtual labs and virtual field trips. And then, of course, they often become a mentor sort of role with online quizzes and assignments and projects and research. And then eventually a coach where they're giving feedback in grade books and virtual exercise books. And that's all contained within one lesson. So it's about keeping the pace, keeping the interactivity, keeping that child actually participating rather than just sat there looking at a screen and listening and typing the odd poll or whatever. And
what about balance? I mean, is online schooling all about online, or are there other aspects to it?
No, there are other aspects to it. I mean, the great thing about online is it gives flexibility. So it gives back students some time for training, time for rehearsing, time for hobbies, time for family, time for socialising. So it's the sheer flexibility of it that really is, the best benefit of going to school online or learning online at any one time.
And what advice do you have on resources and types of technology that parent teachers could use to enhance the child's experience of online learning?
Yeah, it's difficult if you're a parent because there's a lot of educational technology out there, and there is a certain amount of skill required in using the right technology in the right situation. So at Interhigh, for instance, teachers are sometimes, when they're giving new material, it might be a masterclass. There might be a lot of children with a guest speaker. They then might move on to sort of interactive video and simulations and even augmented reality and virtual reality. Sometimes they use breakout rooms. So that's where students work in smaller groups using whiteboards like they do in a physical classroom. And obviously they have tools, like online exercise books and things like that, which parents don't necessarily have.
And you mentioned the physical classroom. In your experience, are there specific things children miss out on by not being in a classroom? I mean, some of them will be obvious to us, but what occurs to you?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the child. It's horses for courses. It doesn't suit everybody. I think the biggest thing for being in an online classroom is control. So you're giving back control to that child. They're controlling the environment that they're in. They're controlling their communication. And ultimately, they're controlling their learning. And if they're happy, then we know that children will naturally learn. If their well-being is catered for, then they will learn. Once they're unhappy or anxious or bored, then that's when there becomes a problem with learning progress. So the only way they miss out is in the same way as they miss out if they go to a bad physical school or a physical school that doesn't suit them. They can miss out just as much that way. So there's no real difference. And it's about the individual child, really.
And what advice would you give to parents who feel their children need to do some extra catch-up learning over the summer or even into the next academic year?
Yeah, well, again, that depends on the child. I mean, if they're happy at school and comfortable in school, I would say to parents, try to relax and don't push this over the summer. But if traditionally they are anxious or haven't been happy in school or they haven't been making good progress, then it might be good time. It might be a bit of an inflection point to reconsider your options and maybe change things, and maybe look at things that are online, like inter-high offer summer schools and revision courses and that kind of thing. And then there are all sorts of things. And it might be a good time to reflect on, what your child likes and what's working, and build on that.
Because like the rest of us, this experience might have changed some things, mightn't it? Thank you, Jaqueline. Good to talk to you. Thank you. And thanks to Interhigh as well. For more information, go to lbc.co.uk.